Welcome back to Isimo. For today's Patreon shout out, we have a couple of new Jaritos, which is the $20 tier of our Patreon. Shout out to Nat Milo, Alex Knotts, Alex Nunez, Alex Zemil, a lot of Alexes, gotta be honest, yeah. Amanda Pinedo, Angelica Mora, Aparni Rani, Chacaron, Christian Alvarado, David Serato, DJ Moon, who makes a lot of dope ass art for us. Thank you. Shout out DJ Moon. Eddie Bravo, Fantastic Fat Man, Gabby Ferris, Isai Facio, Izzy Sandoval, Kareem, Cassandra Muro, Laisha Ashley. Sorry for getting your name wrong. She corrected me on the Discord, which you can join if you join our Patreon. Daria, Mex Superman, aka Chwex Mex Foo, or aka Chwex Luther. You guys got it. Michael Zuniga, My Little Jabroni, Nia Town, Nicholas Moreno, aka Calzone. Right? You guys are on top of it. Pedro, Rosa Alarcon, shout out Mommy, Serena, Susana Guzman, Yesenia Oropeza, and Zialtino. Thank you to all of our Jaritos.
Also head on over to @KidBrother Inc. That's KidBrother INC on Instagram to follow my photography and video page. And if you're in the market for portraits, headshots, live events, and anything else that requires photo or video, hit me up in the DMs.
Also, I do freelance art and design. Whether or not it's a personal commission or for a business or anything like that, you can find my work at my Instagram at the Rian Reyes.
There is construction happening next door, so sorry if there's any unwanted sounds. Isimo Podcast. My name is Gerardo Larcon.
My name is Dominic Angel.
I have a sore throat, I'm sorry. My name is Rian Reyes.
Ryan sounds like he has COVID, to be honest, and we didn't check him.
Yeah. Will you go on the record and tell me that you do not have COVID?
Allegedly.
No, it's just strep throat. For sure. It's just a...
Isn't that highly contagious too, though?
They strep COVID to his throat, food.
It's just I just have a strained throat.
Damn, sorry for the audio only listeners, food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was creepy. I don't know if you want to... I can redo that if you don't want to.
What? No, it's fine.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Moving on.
If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube, leave a comment and a like if you would, please. And follow us on Instagram at Isimo Podcast. It's ISIMOPODCAST.
Oh, you can spell.
Yeah, dude. And if you want to follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review, it helps us out a lot. Right, guys?
It does. That helps us out so much.
And if you haven't already, join our Patreon. We have a new $2 tier for vampires, which is just Patreon-only episodes. But we have a $5 tier for Discord access and all the fun stuff in between. And a $20 tier for producers that want to have a shout out at the beginning of the podcast. And your face in the studio, which we have a couple more to print out, but I ran out of ink. So I'll make it up to you guys and have your guys' faces on the wall next week.
Yep. Thank you so much. All of the Patreon funds really help us out. We got some, again, very big, exciting news coming up that we'll be announcing later on. Sorry to tease you like that, but we have some live events.
Sorry to tease.
Yeah. But thank you so much for all your support. And I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this.
Don't fly. The end of the episode already?
Bye.
This week, what are we talking about, Ryan?
Autism.
Oh.
I gross. That sounds like a frog, though.
I'm glad you didn't hear me say gross.
Gross. So before we talk about autism, do you have any questions for Ryan about autism, dude?
Wouldn't that... What?
Well, before we let Ryan just be like, autism, you know. Okay, sorry. You know what I'm saying.
Before we let Ryan be all autistic. Well, I want to preface the reason. So it's Autism Awareness Month.
It's because I wanted to make a joke.
I know. It was just like,
I was like, why are you holding his hand, dude?
Because he's about to go off, dude, and I wanted to make a joke.
I just wanted to say it's Autism Awareness Month, and for anyone who's wondering
Still goes off.
How to support that, the colors are red and gold.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
What was your joke?
Before we let Ryan take the mask off.
See,
you liked it because that's a good autism joke, right?
Oh, the mask. Yeah.
The mask. Food.
Yeah. So I sometimes mask too, though.
I don't even know if you know what that means.
I do. I go into like taco shops and I'll act like I speak Spanish.
I thought you be like,
I wear a face mask sometimes.
Yeah. I thought you were like, I go to Chipotle and I take my mask right off.
And I sneeze in the clerk's face.
So do you have any questions, Dominic, for autistic Ryan?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? How dare you?
You'd be surprised.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so I'm going to share my experience with autism and with Ryan. Ryan, his whole life was fucking crazy. No, I'm just kidding. That's really
super
rude.
autistic.
No, but so the thing is, like, starting from the middle, Ryan was diagnosed at 15.
Yeah.
Which is pretty late for most people. My understanding is, and like, so all up until before that, like, Ryan was very hyperactive, like, was always kind of like getting into trouble at school, like doing shit that, like, laying down in class or like taking a nap on it, which is pretty baller, to be honest. He was like, I'm taking a break in the middle of the day.
Tired of y'all bullshit.
Yeah, and you know, Ryan was always like his own person, and it was hard, like, and up until like when I graduated high school, that's when Ryan entered sophomore year, and that's when he got diagnosed. So I was already out of high school, but like, it was a thing where like I always kind of had to stick up for him because he was like always doing something that I was like,
Weird.
Yeah, weird, quote unquote weird, and nobody knew what the fuck was wrong with this guy, because like it was. But also I had these issues like where I would do really well on all my tests, but I wouldn't do any homework, or I wouldn't pay attention in class and stuff like that. So I was like, that's normal. Like, Ryan does that stuff. Like, he was getting into trouble for like not doing any work or whatever, but he's very clearly very smart and very intelligent person.
And that's not time for jokes, Dominic.
I thought you were gonna. Honestly, I thought you were gonna be like, the difference is he was very clearly autistic.
Well, actually, no, you weren't, because it's like we didn't know. And then also, like, at that time, we were just like, I still don't fully understand it, but we had to learn like what it is and what does this mean and how do we interact with Ryan. And like over the years, 12 years later, how old are you? 26?
I was diagnosed in 2010, so 12 years, yeah.
Okay, so 12 years later, like, I'm still learning, and I think people are still understanding autism. But like, I've learned some ways, I think, like how to talk to Ryan or explain things when it's needed. Like, would you say that's accurate, or am I still really shitty?
Yeah, I mean, it's a learning curve for everyone. I would say I'm more inclined to know about it, not only because I experience it, because like I'm more inclined to research it for myself. And to say something about what he was saying about seeming normal, part of the problem with that too is for the longest time there was this huge like statistic of people. It's harder for people of color to get diagnosed autistic, and specifically harder for more boys than girls get diagnosed, and more like Caucasian people get diagnosed than people of color. So I would say specifically, like, it's hard for women of color. I'm not a woman. I don't know why I added that.
But also, just
we
like,
cut that bit out.
There's the expectation of just like brown kids being fucking hyper and like shitty kid, like brats, you know, like, oh, you're a Mexican, so like, of course you're a problem.
Well, also, like, a Mexican parent, I know from personal experience that they just don't like to talk about it. Maybe they don't go get tested for autism, which I don't even know. We'll get into that too. How the fuck do you get tested for autism? They just put binary code on a paper, and if you could read it, they're like, I'm just kidding.
There's a few different assessments. The most common one is the RADS.
Is that I know RADS from Fallout 3.
No, I forget what it stands for. Maybe we can look it up right now, but it's RAADS, and it's 80 question assessment. It's a public assessment too, and I say this to Dominic all the fucking time, because he always is like, sometimes,
Ryan, am I autistic?
Get fucking tested. No, so there's 2 points to make about getting tested. One is self-diagnosis is not invalid. You know, I will say that people that are like, well, everyone's a little, that's not self-diagnosis. That's fucking bullshit. Autism is a specific thing, but I will say, like, if you are learning about autism, and even though, you know, someone might have told you didn't have it, but you're identifying with like most of the symptoms that you're learning about, you might be autistic. And that's what I mean is, like, it's harder for people of color and for women to get diagnosed, because not because it's harder to see, but because professionals are more inclined to dismiss it if you're a woman and if you're a person of color.
Yep.
Can you actually keep it down? I'm trying to listen to the engine.
Yeah, there's an air compressor that just goes off randomly right now. Anyways, with autism, so when you're diagnosed, is there any kind of like follow through with, like, now that you're diagnosed autistic, here's where you're going in life kind of thing?
Well, in my particular case, we were trying to get benefits from the DOR of California, the Department of
Rehabilitation.
Yeah. And so we had to, like, verify my diagnosis. They didn't believe me. And part of that is because of masking. What masking is essentially is to seem more normal, to fit in with people. Autistic people will, like, analyze everyone else's behavior and do their best to replicate that, you know, kind of like a parrot.
Can you give an example? Like, I don't know if you have any off the top of your head, or like maybe a situation of like you know, learning how to passively laugh in conversation. Like, even if you don't care about someone's conversation, you laugh to be polite. It's that concept, but stretched out over like almost every interaction socially.
Well, you told me before that you saying hello is kind of like masking, where you're like, hello, you just say hello all the time the same way.
Oh yeah, so a lot of, you know, the way I go hello sounds fake, but that's because I don't say hello because I want to. I started saying hello because I had to, like, force myself to learn to greet people because it's polite. And so every time I, like, went to an event with my family, I would just walk around going hello to everyone to make sure that I said hello, because my mom would check.
Yeah. Something happened the other night when we were hanging out at Chatterbox, which was, so at the end of every single show, obviously they take the group picture with all the comedians that are there. Like, sometimes comedians come just to watch and they're still part of the picture at the end of the night. So Ryan was with me, and in the last picture, he kind of was like not looking at the camera and like making a face in all the pictures. So I had to be like, Ryan, I'm gonna count off for you. I like explained the whole situation of like, I'm gonna count off. I'm holding my finger down, so I'm taking pictures throughout. I need you to make a good face. And then he was like, I don't know how to do that. And I was like, Ryan, just smile. And he's like, I don't know how to smile. I was like, you know how to smile?
Oh my God.
And he was like, actually, no, I don't. And then he like tried smiling.
No, yeah, that's the thing, is like sometimes we have to practice.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. Like, if you look on TikTok, that's like one of the number one things is they practice smiling in a camera, because unless something is genuinely bringing them joy, it's hard to fake a smile for us. It's hard to be insincere, which honestly, we'll get into the second part later. Yeah, so it's like hard to mask sometimes, and that's why masking is a thing for us. But so to kind of bring it back to the point, so because I was used to like hiding my autism, when they had me assessed, I was trying to look normal. And so the DOR's assessment of me was like inconclusive. They thought that I maybe had a social disorder, but it was unverified that I was autistic. So we had to go to like 2 different specialists, and I had to like be honest about myself. And with other than my initial diagnosis, so including my initial diagnosis, 3 separate doctors verified that I had autism, but I still didn't get accepted into the DOR programs.
Yeah.
So that was my path to it. I've heard other stories from people. Some people get diagnosed younger, and it starts with like special needs and stuff like that. And part of the problem with that is this kind of like grading system that America's medical system has when it comes to autism, which is where you get terms like high and low functioning. Essentially, if you seem normal enough that you don't need benefits, they won't give you anything.
High functioning.
Yeah, which also, I don't like those terms, high and low functioning, because they only benefit people that aren't autistic. Like, it's people without autism telling us how, what's the word? How productive we are to regular society. And if we're not productive to them, then we're deemed invalid. Like, we're deemed unnecessary and therefore something extra to take care of.
So autism was when was autism discovered, I guess you could say?
Honestly, I don't know.
Some expert, huh?
Because there's like extenuating, like a lot of these things, like ADHD, I didn't know was like discovered, I think 200 years ago, or there was like intensive studies about it that still apply to today that people are surprised by. The one thing I do know is Asperger's
is from the Nazis.
Is a Nazi thing, yeah.
So he wasn't started on Asperger's, dude. Go for it.
Don't get him started. No. So it's funny is I think part of the reason that nobody knows this is that his name is so fucking goofy, so they don't think they need to look past it. But the doctor that Asperger's is named after, Johann Asperger, was a Nazi, and his work benefited the Nazi regime. And he created the term or the association of high and low functioning because he used that grading system to decide which kids were cognizant enough to stay in camps and which weren't. And the ones that weren't were sent off to die. So, you know, and there's a lot of people that still try to hold on to Asperger's as a diagnosis. First of all, it is no longer an official diagnosis. There are doctors that still use it, but there's a lot of doctors that just kind of choose to ignore what's accepted everywhere. Like, I've run into that a lot in the past, and I've heard other people run into it. There's doctors that still use shock therapy, and they're not supposed to. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, I got a lobotomy.
Oh, that's what it is?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I've been back for seconds.
When I was living in Sherman Oaks, one of my roommates, he said it himself, had Asperger's, right?
Right.
And yeah, he was a weird guy. He was a writer. He was weird, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna get canceled.
This is why Gerardo's not talking that much. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna fucking call someone an Asperger.
He one time I was on the porch of the house and just chilling, smoking some weed. I'm sober, but with my landlord and another roommate of mine. And he came out of the door and he was like, my cat, he's like, something's wrong with my cat. You know, like something's wrong with my cat. And then he went back inside and he came back out because he was asking the landlord to help him out with this cat. Right. I don't know if the landlord knew about the cat or knew about cats more than this fool did, but he wanted somebody to come help. And then he like of mice and men his cat where he hugged him to death. And then he came outside, dude, with the cat and he hurled it like a frisbee into the front patio and it like spun in the air. Like I have a visual of it. It's spinning in the air. Like the legs out, you know?
Right.
And then landed. And he was like, you guys killed my cat, you know? Because we didn't come help him.
Jesus Christ.
That's just a fun anecdote.
Ryan, explain yourself.
No, so he told us that he was trying to pet his cat to help it. But he ended up choking out his cat.
Oh wow,
crazy, right?
He was trying to comfort it.
Yeah,
right. So like,
it could have been dying from something else he didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Anyways,
I mean, but the thing is, like, stuff like that happens. I mean, again, I don't want to speak.
So everyone that has autism, in a way,
right,
has Asperger's, or like what's considered to be Asperger's, I guess.
No, so Asperger's was a term essentially. It was considered when it was still accepted a separate class of autism that was essentially high functioning. It was like you have symptoms of autism, but you're somehow still intelligent, so you'd be designated Asperger's. Somehow. But the thing is, that's the point. Is like it's all autism. Asperger's doesn't exist. There is no difference in autism. There's just people who happen to figure out certain things and people that don't, but their neurological pathways still function in other ways. Like, there's a whole thing about people who can't speak verbally are considered lower functioning than people who can, even if they're still intelligent, even if they figure out ways to communicate, even if they speak sign language.
Yeah.
And, and that's the thing about, that's why terms like low and high functioning and terms like Asperger's are harmful, is they're just ways to classify us in how productive we are. Yeah. But it's all bullshit. It's all Asperger's.
So also there was a comment on your recent video about how the colors, because the video you're talking about last week was the not wearing blue because it represents Autism Speaks.
Oh yeah, fuck Autism Speaks.
Are we hashtagging fuck Autism Speaks?
Dude, I seen it on Twitter. It's hashtag yo fuck Autism Speaks.
Right, there it is.
There's another one that's Autism Speaks doesn't speak for me. I showed you that last week.
Yeah, it doesn't speak
That's
for
too
me.
long.
That was an older one.
There's a lot of people putting that though.
Actually, that brings me to the thing I wanted to show. Can we play we only have to play the beginning, but can we play that ad?
Yeah.
So this is an ad. This is for people that don't understand why autistic people fucking hate Autism Speaks. This ad came out the year I was diagnosed.
All right. I'll try to put it onto the video later, but here's the audio of it. It says Autism Speaks.
Jesus Christ.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late.
Dude, first of all,
I know where you live.
This guy's voice, like, maybe try like, I'm autism. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
it's
the
like
thing.
out the gate. It's like it feels like a cigarette ad.
It feels like a Transformers movie, dude.
Yeah.
Autism Prime.
Autism Prime is
Here we
pretty
go.
good.
And guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency. I speak your language fluently, and with every voice I take away, I acquire yet another language.
Like, seriously, does it have to sound like it's being filmed in like the spookiest cave of all
Well,
time?
that's like the
X-Men
vibe they're
villain?
going for.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying when like Autism Speaks, people assume that they're trying to help us, but they kind of vilify autistic people.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, no, they justify it by saying that they're not saying autistic people are violent. They're saying that the bad guy is autism itself. It's a disease, but it's not a disease. It's just it's just a brain that functions differently from yours.
Yeah.
And that's what's so frustrating about it. Sorry, give me a second. Because that's the thing about Autism Speaks is they don't do a lot financially. They kind of only fund a few different things. You go on their site and they don't provide any services to you. They give you like pamphlets, but you read these pamphlets on like they're kind of like introductions to behavioral therapy, and they're not like dissimilar from like how you would train a dog. They essentially are trying to show you how to like hide your stimming and how to like behave normally. And not only that, but that's like the kind of people they support. Like, they supported this woman on Twitter. They like called her brave and said that I think they even offered to pay her legal fees, but she was on trial for child neglect and abuse and attempted murder because she tried to euthanize her toddler because her toddler was diagnosed autistic.
That's fucking...
And they were like trying to get people to support her fight for custody of that child.
Why?
It's bonkers.
That is bonkers. That's like... I remember years ago, like, I saw like a post on Facebook about how like somebody that I was Facebook friends with, but I didn't really know, was like doing like an anti-vaccine rant on Facebook. And one of the things that they said was that her younger brother, who she was probably like 20 in her early 20s, and then she had like a kid brother that was like Kid Brother Inc. Sorry,
stupid.
She had like this brother that was like 8 years old, and she was like he got all the vaccines, and he came out autistic, and all he does is cry and yell. My mom is so frustrated, like fuck vaccines. And then people were all talking about like, oh, autism is like a disease or something that's like onset by like vaccinations.
Also, there's maybe like 12 studies in like the hundreds of years that people have known about autism that have suggested that, and they've all been completely disproven.
You know who's to blame? Is
Robert De Niro.
Is it Robert De Niro?
Everyone's going to say Jenny McCarthy, but do you know who she got it from? She didn't even get it from Autism Speaks. She got it from fucking Robert De Niro in like a passive conversation. He just told her about it, and then she fucking went buck wild about supporting Autism Speaks.
Hey. Do you believe this is a disease?
We're doing Don Corleone. What's a Robert De Niro? Fuck.
I have titties. Can you milk me?
I've heard things. I've heard things about these vaccines.
Not good things.
Not good things.
That was good.
What's it called? So is there anyone that's not been vaccinated that has autism?
Probably. I don't keep track of them.
Oh.
We're not.
I thought that's what being autistic was. I'm just kidding.
We're not X-Men.
Kind of are.
We don't have a cerebro. That's how Professor X keeps track of all the X-Men.
I know about Cerebro, dude. That's how that not that you know of, Doug.
Are you not part of the?
What if Elon Musk was like Professor X, Doug?
It wouldn't be Elon Musk.
Isn't he autistic?
Yeah, but he's like he prefers to use the term Asperger's. He doesn't like.
Well, that fool's South African, so he's a Nazi.
I mean, I try to be forgiving of people that want to hold on to it. I don't think they're trying to be malicious or anything, but some people still have a negative connotation with it. Like I said, like in my assessment with the DOR, I thought I was supposed to hide it because I didn't want to
fail the test.
I didn't want to look bad.
So as a not that it's high functioning or low functioning, do they give you any kind of like score for autism? Like, oh, this fool's got like a 30 autism wise. Because
some of the assessments have a scoring, but they don't score you on. I want to be clear, it's not a score on how autistic you are. You have autism regardless.
Yeah.
But there's
Ryan's in the first percentile of being autistic.
How autistic are you, Ryan?
There's scores that assess your capabilities as far as social interaction and problem solving. So it's not that you're scored this level of autistic, but it's like you get a 30 in social, which means like you're not very sociable. It's like 30 out of 100.
So you're 30 autistic.
Yeah, and I believe
30th degree.
I believe that this is where the concept of like everyone's a little autistic comes from. Is people, if you take the test, you're gonna get a score, but that doesn't mean jack shit. That just means like if you get a low score, you probably don't have autism. But that's not, it's a complete farce to say that everyone's a little autistic. That's not true at all. That's like saying everyone is a little left-handed. Like, no.
I used to
punch the both of you with my left hand. No. Yeah, like that's honestly using left-handed people being left-handed as an analogy works a lot in explaining to non-autistic people how autism works. It's like because like even going as far as like there's no cure for autism, because trying to cure autism is like trying to say that you're gonna cure left-handedism. Like you can't force someone to not be left-handed.
Well, first of all, left-handed people are descendants of Lucifer. So fuck, Ryan, I'm trying to make you laugh.
Didn't they try to cure left-handedness back in the day?
Yeah, they would like tie their left hand to their side so that they could only use their right hand, and then they would. But essentially, it's like they don't stop being left-handed. They're just now like a little bit better at using their right hands.
Yeah,
yeah. Trying to cure autism is very Nazi-ish, dude. It's like let's get rid of autism.
It's eugenics, which was invented by the Nazis.
Interesting.
And if you are on the spectrum.
I'm trying to think of what's that little. No, German boy, don't go into the autism assessment. My God, I have the Asperger's. You sound like the one. What's that guy's name? I love his voice. Fuck. He's like always playing a villain. He was in one of the Star Wars movies.
I don't know.
I don't know his
He's like
name, but he
blind
was the
or whatever.
bad guy from Mystery Men.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of someone else, but I also like that guy.
Who told you have Asperger's? Uns Asperger himself.
Johann Asperger.
Johann. What are the
Johan,
questions?
they're talking about you on the news.
What other questions is there for autism? Like, so let's go into what about when people say that they are, what is the speech one? The
Nonverbal
versus verbal autism.
Again, yeah, that's like there's no different kind of. It's just that's like the thing is it's more of a matter of whether or not it eventually clicks for someone. Like I was nonverbal until I was, my first recorded words weren't until I was 4 years old.
What were your first words?
I don't remember.
Oh shit! He said, "I don't remember."
That's a sentence.
That's a sentence, dog.
Yeah,
Allegedly, my mom says that he would never speak, but then one day he started singing a song by Shaggy.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So your first words were the thong song, dog? Okay, that was my first words.
Angel
Angel.
by Shaggy.
Oh shit!
You're my darling angel.
I can picture Ryan.
You're my darling angel.
I thought you were gonna. It would be funny to see a 3-year-old be like doing the Shaggy lines.
I don't know any of those lines.
I want to give a shout out to all the women.
You know I can fuck my back.
Okay, sorry.
I don't think Shaggy's into pegging, dude.
What? I didn't say that.
I am.
You did. We heard it.
Oh, so anyways, like I was saying, the comment was that when you're talking about the colors of autism,
Yeah.
the guy had commented that people that are autistic are more likely to be part of the LGBTQ community. Do you know anything about that?
No, I mean, there's some studies that support the idea that they're more open to the concepts of gender and sexuality, and so they're more likely, supposedly, allegedly, they're more likely to agree with the idea of non-binaryism or to agree with the ideas of like pansexuality, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing conclusive about that, I don't think.
Pansexuality is like you like just yourself, right? Or is that asexual? That's asexual.
Asexual means that you don't require sex in a relationship. So like asexual people can still be sexual, they just don't need sex. They can still enjoy sex, they just don't need it.
What about horny? What is that considered?
As far as because I identify as pansexual, as far as I understand it, pansexuality is that genitalia has no what's the word? The person's specific sex organs has no what's the word I'm looking for?
Bearing.
Yeah, it has no impact on your decision to have sex with them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I think similar to demisexual, but it's not the same thing.
What's demisexual, dude?
Demisexual is that you could be attracted to anyone as long as you're emotionally attracted to them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these sexuals, like,
They get down.
they get down? That was my question. Thank you. They get down?
Do autistic people get down? Like, yeah, sometimes. Dude, honestly, this is going to sound weird to just say out loud, but I've heard of, like, autistic porn stars.
Really?
Yeah, like, they can do anything. Anything you can do, we can do better. Sorry.
There's I think Playboy recently got their first Down syndrome playmate.
I don't think that's accurate.
No.
That's a different scenario.
No, that's true though.
I don't think it's that. I think it's Victoria's Secret
Oh,
hired
yes.
a model with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. Victoria's Secret got their first model with Down syndrome.
Yeah, they signed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's also a thing. And not that this is what you're saying, but it does allow me to segue into this. Down syndrome is not autism. Schizophrenia is not autism. In both scenarios, they have symptoms that cross over, meaning that there's different identifying symptoms that look the same in each disorder. That does not make them the same disorder. Someone can have autism and schizophrenia.
Jesus Christ.
But they're not the same thing.
Can you have all three?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard.
possible.
Isn't it cloudy to see if like somebody with Down syndrome has autism? Because it's already kind of...
Yeah, when you have one, it's hard to see the... Like,
Yes.
there's tons of people that have ADHD and autism, and they get misdiagnosed or undiagnosed because it's hard to see one past the other.
And also, I was talking to, I think, Brendan about this the other day. Shout out Brendan Cooney. That because your joke about acute schizophrenia,
Right.
Were they just telling you that you might have schizophrenia? They weren't telling you.
The funny thing about the joke is that even in the joke that I wrote, I was misunderstanding what he meant. Originally, I thought he meant that I might have like a mild case of schizophrenia. But what acute means is if I'm showing signs of schizophrenia, I'm not showing consistent signs, which means it might be episodic schizophrenia rather than chronic schizophrenia. So acute means instead of always showing symptoms, it's short, small bursts, episodes of schizophrenia.
With episodic With episodic schizophrenia, or
There is not a finale, no.
fuck, Ryan. Are you ever like, I've seen this before, I'm gonna skip it?
Skip the recap, Doug. Let's get to the episode.
Imagine if schizophrenia had reboots.
But they told you like you might have this, right? Like it's like
Yeah, essentially what he was saying is that there weren't any specific signs based on what I told him to verify 100% without seeing a specialist or without me showing more signs later, but that I might have it. If I did have it, it would be acute schizophrenia because I'm not showing prolonged, consistent symptoms.
all right, can I ask you a question? And this is just for fun. Are there any symptoms that Gerardo has of autism?
I've already proved to you many times. Like, for instance, when we went to that one shop and I would never order a sandwich unless it was cut into cubes.
What?
Or like the club sandwich was like a bunch of triangles.
That could just be obsessive compulsive. That's the thing too, is you always bring up stuff, but they just sound like obsessive compulsive. Obsessive compulsive personality.
Yeah. Well, I think out of all three of us here, obviously Ryan has autism.
Right.
But Dominic is the most likely to be next in line for autism.
Well,
Also, I will reiterate, there's a fucking test.
I understand, but we're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah, it does take a minute. There's 80 questions.
God
It's
damn it,
exhausting.
Ryan.
It's also like you got to be one to know one. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't.
So it takes one to know one does not apply to this situation.
Oh, okay.
It's not contagious.
I didn't say that it was
Hopefully not.
contagious. Jesus Christ.
The more Ryan's around me, I'm always like, hello. Oh, no.
no.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
you're mocking me.
Oh, really?
Like you didn't know.
What's the most autistic thing that's ever happened to you?
Being born.
Mm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Did you come out and mask right away? You were like, wah, wah.
I don't know. I heard some other babies crying.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
They pat your back. You're like, burp.
And he was like, "You better not get me milk."
You better know. I'm going to get so autistic.
Oh my god. I will say, I mean, I'm going to rephrase your question for you. If there's anything that makes me not mask or like show my stims more, it's I have tinnitus, and so when it's acting up, I start twitching a lot more, and I can't. It gives me anxiety because I don't like people seeing me twitch.
Oh, I thought tinnitus was like if you ever make plans, you're like, why not tonight, fool?
Tonight is no good.
Sorry for spitting all over you. That was so funny though.
You ready to go to Miami in June? Tonight, fool. Oh, I forgot.
Tonight
Ryan
is
has
the night.
I forgot. Ryan has tinnitus, fool.
That's why he texts.
Tonight
He
is.
texts his booty call that in the middle of the night. Tonight, us?
Tonight?
Question
us?
mark?
Question mark?
Winky face.
And then
I
I've
have-
said it before, but in case no one knows what tinnitus is, it's just a consistent ringing in the ears.
I have a you upist. I just text you up. No? Okay, cool. I got it.
I liked it. I laughed. Ryan. See, here's the thing is, and I understand.
No,
it,
I just remember
right?
my favorite joke. It's like Up Dog, but it's Matter Baby. What's the matter, baby? Nothing, sweetie. What's wrong with you?
Oh.
It's just obviously Ryan cares deeply about this topic, and I keep trying to make him laugh, and he's just like, I want to keep talking about this. So I just want to just take a second and be like, you fucking bitch.
Stims are like twitches, right?
It's stimulated action. I think that's what it's referred to. I forget the official phrasing, but essentially it's like it's either actions we use to keep our focus or actions that we use it as like a side effect of being anxious. So like sometimes when we're happy we do it, or if we're like, you know, stuck in a place for a long time and we have nothing to do, we do it. I did this thing where when I'm like in an awkward situation, one of my stims. The funny thing about me is I've been able to like, part of my masking is I've been able to turn my stims into things that look normal. Like one of my stims is I beatbox when I'm bored.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna say I beat. Never mind. Yeah.
I beat dicks. Mostly mine.
Hopefully mine.
Like you might reject yourself. What?
No, like hopefully I'm not beating other dicks all the time.
Oh, I mean,
anyways,
to his.
I thought you were gonna say you beat people up like when you're bored. But
no, but I do have a
the worst in you.
Yeah.
By beatbox or
he's like, anyways, so I sexually assault people if I get bored.
Don't spread.
I'm just joking.
Or I practice my trumpet. I played the trumpet for 8 years, so I practice my scales.
I'm not saying that I'm autistic because I do this, but I also practice the trumpet. It's real. When I go on walks, I do this.
Yeah,
a lot.
Now, are you saying practice the trumpet like you know the scales, or
no,
are you just saying you fiddle your fingers because that's different?
In my head, I'm practicing the trumpet, even though I don't play the trumpet. I'm right. It is what it is. I imagine myself playing the trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play trumpet.
I do that too, and I'm like, damn, fool, that was a sick ass solo, Doug.
Yeah. And I'll do it with my mouth. I go.
Like Gerardo, he practices with his butt.
I fart a lot.
I fart a lot.
I love farts, dude. Like that was the worst thing about Mexico is that I couldn't fart safely
because you were shitting so much.
Yeah. That's. I mean, you know, it's like it was a dark time, and then I fucking had a bunch of that Lipotil or some shit like that. And I remember the first fart, I was like, I'm back, baby. You know
it was all from their delicious food. You could say it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Honestly, the food wasn't that great. Anyways.
What?
All
right.
What?
I mean, I'm not attacking you. I'm just surprised.
Like, the food was good. But it's just, you know, I'm not too proud to say I fuck around with Taco Bell. I fuck around with Chipotle. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't have Chipotle out there for you?
Nah. They didn't have any Chipotle, but they did have that. I told you that street taco thing was fucking bomb for sure. Yeah. Anyways, where were we? Sorry, I don't know. Do you have any stims that you do, Dominic? No, I mean I don't mean that to say like we try to prove.
I will also say a lot of things with autism and ADHD are things that other people, like normal people, do. We just do it in a more. It's more of a consistency in our everyday life. It's a lot more exaggerated. It's a lot more present. So even if you do some of these things, that doesn't mean you have autism or ADHD necessarily.
And I want to make that clear that that's not what I'm implying.
Like people fidget. Mm-hmm. We just fidget more.
I would say that's the biggest thing is like I do this with my fingers a lot. Like either when I'm driving or when I'm walking or like if I'm working at the computer and like thinking, I do this.
I will say though, there's another side effect of some people with autism that is funny. It's called echolalia, which is essentially just without context or without something driving us to do this on purpose, we make noises or say phrases that we just have recorded in our head, as far as I can tell. And the reason I think it's funny is I was talking to my brother and I was like, I could never meet someone with Tourette's because I would be so bad for them. Because Tourette's isn't just cussing; it's like sound effects, it's noises as well, and it would be very triggering for us because I will just like be in a room and I go, as
Okay,
like
you don't do the bird call, Doug. You go.
what?
Do you do the?
Well, yeah, when I'm bored, I'll just start making noises, and this is like I'd fuck with someone with Tourette's. Okay, I would mess
on
with.
purpose.
What?
You would?
Yeah, no,
You're
it's
a bully?
100% on purpose.
No, I was trying to. There was a joke because of the phrasing. I wouldn't fuck with someone with Tourette's. I wouldn't fuck someone with
I don't
Tourette's.
fuck with you, dog.
No, but yeah, but I would like my echolaria would mess with their Tourette's essentially, and I think it's a funny scenario, but I wouldn't do that on purpose. I swear.
Wait, so is echolaria like you just making noises involuntary, or do you have triggers? Like, because there's a thing that sometimes you'll do, like we do. I don't know what it is, but like for instance, like sometimes people will say something. Like for me, it's like for the longest time, like because Gerardo says that a lot.
What?
But it's like every time he sees it, like I want to sing Billy Joel.
That is, I think part of it as well. Yeah, like when your response, it doesn't always. Sometimes it's a direct reaction to something happening, and sometimes it's like a delayed reaction. Sometimes it's without reaction, like you're just doing it. Like every time I hear a car beep, I go meep meep.
Yeah.
Or like the parrot noise I was just making earlier. Or
For me, whenever I hear something funny, I repeat it. I hate it so much. But like if you guys say like titties on the windshield, I'll be like titties on the windshield and then repeat it. You know what I mean? If it makes me laugh hard.
Yeah.
right.
Is that
That's not. I mean, it's
Am
not
I
necessarily. No, echolaria is different. It's more of like it's like a tick. It's like an involuntary reaction.
yeah, I wouldn't know any of my tics consciously because I think I have tics, but like not like anything like that's outwardly seen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I know you probably haven't seen Love on the Spectrum yet, but
I haven't seen season 2. I saw most of season 1, and then I was like,
I thought I was gonna make it.
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, so Love on the Spectrum, they'll be on dates and she'll just be like, hey, and then to keep talking, but like there's like and that's my knowledge of stims as far as autism goes, where they do it whether they're happy or whether they're sad, if it's some sort of stimulation, emotionally, then or whatever, they do that thing all the time.
Right, it's a stimulated reaction. Yeah.
Right.
Like when I eat Chipotle, you know what I'm saying? My stimulated reaction is a boner.
Yeah, I definitely like that's something some people might have noticed on the podcast is like once one of my stims is my shoulder starts to twitch when I'm like anxious.
Oh, is it when fam? I feel bad because we've pointed it out, and here we're like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on over here? You heard
it's
about
fine.
these
And
vaccines?
it's not always necessarily like emotional anxiety. Sometimes I'm just like fatigued or I'm like overstimulated, and so I'm like hyper.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a reaction of me trying not to like shake my leg or something. So I'm like finding small ways to twitch off camera.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn, I didn't think Robert De Niro was. You started doing this voice, and I was like, oh man.
I mean, it's technically not his fault. I just like throwing people off by saying De Niro because everyone expects me to say Jenny McCarthy.
But Jenny McCarthy is the one that went and fucking ran that shit.
She's the one that like campaigned for it.
Yeah. Damn.
And it's very like verifiably false information.
Damn.
It's just stuff that people use when they don't like something and they want to get rid of it. Like they just use false information, like barely stuff that like barely sticks to the wall, and they'll keep telling that like version of the story.
Well, it's just like Rian robbed a fucking liquor store this last weekend is the headline, and then 2 days later be like, it actually wasn't Rian, but but that's on the 4th page as opposed to the first.
But he was in the area.
Yeah.
It's like 4 blocks away.
It was that guy with the smoothie on the escalator.
yeah.
I'm gay.
The one part I don't get is when people comment, "Are you the chill daddy guy? The daddy,
Daddy
chill
Chill.
guy?"
You don't look like the Daddy Chill guy.
Wasn't that guy white?
I have
That
no
guy was
clue.
black. The Daddy Chill guy was.
I don't remember.
Wow, damn, he looked black. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
But I like don't look. I get that I have a soft voice, but it's not the same voice.
But
like,
can you do the voice?
No. I can't.
Daddy Chill. Oh, not right now, huh?
No.
Damn it.
Oh. Anyways, well, I didn't know that April is Autism Awareness Month, right?
Yeah.
What other ways could you be aware of autism?
What do you mean?
People use the word awareness like.
Well, some people are trying to change it to say that it's Autism Acceptance Month, where it's like it's a designated time. People should, any acknowledgement month, you should do it outside that month as well. But it's like a time to learn about autistic people and kind of put the spotlight on them for a whole month, kind of a thing. And I think that's kind of the point of these months is not that you only acknowledge them during this month, but that you give them the specific spotlight because there's so many people to acknowledge.
A whole month, though?
I know. I mean, it's hard for us to do this episode. Imagine if we do 4 episodes on autism.
Yeah,
I got a lot to talk about. If there's anyone who can hyper-focus and stay on topic for a long time, it's an autistic person.
Oh, we know.
We know. He's like, and that brings me to bees.
Fucking bees.
All right, 2 minutes, bees, go.
What?
Wait, weren't you saying something that like there's a movement for like bees to become like the symbol of autism?
Oh yeah, I will say, because I think it was in the last episode, that I want to make a correction. So this, I forget their name. I should have looked it before. An autistic artist created an infinity symbol, and they wanted that to replace the puzzle piece, which is the
Autism Speaks symbol.
It's Autism Speaks sign. So they created I think originally it was a rainbow symbol. I might have that wrong. But so it was a rainbow colored infinity symbol. The issue is there's still people that don't like fully saying autistic in their bio. So they said neurodivergent, but they would keep the symbol. And so it grew as a neurodivergent sign. So I think it was changed specifically to be a golden infinity. So neurodivergency still kind of has the infinity, but we specifically have the golden infinity. And then another campaign started in direct opposition to the blue of Autism Speaks, where people are just switching to red. It's hashtag red instead.
Neurodivergent as opposed to neurotypical, right?
Yeah.
And neurotypical. You know what's crazy about autism is that we're all humans, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need to be loved.
But the classification of autism and all this stuff is basically to show somebody's ability to be in the workforce, is my understanding. Right?
Yeah, that's what I mean about the problems with terms like high and low functioning.
Yeah. It's the man, dude. This is another episode talking shit about the man.
Yeah, because there's even evidence to support like that autistic people were functioning members of original societies in long time ago. Like they found that there was someone did a study, and the theory of the study is not 100% conclusive. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that this is factual, but this is the theory of the study. Was they found cave paintings. They found detailed cave paintings in climates, and that would have been like essentially someone to maintain like detail and for the amount of time necessary to complete these paintings using the tactics that like cavemen were using. They'd kind of have to be autistic. They'd be hyper-focused, and they'd be ignoring the climate around them in order to get this done, kind of a thing. That's the theory of the...
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like... the caveman's like, no, dog, I just love painting, foo.
There was this thing about like cave persons that like would do these paintings with like these crazy lines and like designs in it. It looked like a mishmash of like just, but what they found was that when they put a fire in the cave, that it was like the earliest examples of animation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the flickering of the fire would like make the images move on the walls.
I think those are the same paintings also.
That's some autistic shit. That right there, I believe, is autistic. Because I wouldn't have time, like, without resource or like teaching to figure that shit out, dude.
And you're in the cave.
Okay.
Gross.
Damn, dude. How long have you been sick for?
Like 3 days.
Birth.
According to Autism Speaks.
Well, is there anything else you want to say to people before we've? Oh my god! Right when I start saying that,
How long have we going?
There's
an hour already.
there's last thing I want to ask before that, if you guys want. Are we gonna wait? Or
Yeah, let's go for it.
are there examples of like either like current persons or like famous people in the past? Like who's your favorite? Like, because you told me before about like certain people that like revealed that they had autism, and you were excited about that. Like, who are some examples of people?
Also, sorry to the audience for the fucking noise in the background.
Man, I should have made a list. Maybe we can do a part 2 because I do want to shout out some people, but some like it sounded like he's doing it on purpose.
I know
He's like watching us from the window.
he hates autism.
I don't want to vaccinate my kids.
It's expensive, okay? But like somewhere more well known at this point, like Dan Aykroyd is autistic.
Yeah.
Einstein was what?
Sorry, you said Einstein.
Einstein was autistic, and those are people honestly to separate them from the autism that I've heard are all kind of shitty people, to be honest. And I do want to acknowledge that part. Like, I'm told that Dan Aykroyd can be a little racist.
From Robert De Niro?
I've heard things.
Don't want to put him in a better light, but I heard
like
things.
it is a fun thing to tell. Like, I've had people come on my videos, comment in my videos, especially the ones pertaining to autism, and be like, I just found out I was autistic. And they're like nervous about it. I'm like, if anyone ever gives you shit about being autistic, just know that without autism, you wouldn't have Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Isn't the mom from Zack and Cody?
Yes! That was the one I got excited about. Fuck. I know her name too, and I forget right now because I'm focused on the thing that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, the mom from Zack and Cody's autistic, and it's the coolest fucking thing ever. And the one-eyed woman from Kill Bill, or Mrs. Crabtree from Rugrats, is also a popular role of hers.
Yeah.
Is autistic.
Rugrats?
No, did I say Rugrats? The Little Rascals, the 1990s movie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mrs.
cool.
Crabtree was autistic.
I never got into Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, so I don't even know who the mom is.
Yeah, I don't know, but a lot of
She was also in Supernatural.
Oh, no clue. That
I just remember you were really excited, and I was
You
like,
haven't
"Good for
leave.
you, dude."
Oh, but speaking of like movies and I did want to talk a little bit about autistic people in movies.
Oh, with what's her name?
Scissors. No, fuck.
Sia.
Sia. Yeah, there's like a lot.
See you later.
That we could talk about when it comes to movies that I thought would be funny. One thing is there's not a lot of great representations of autistic people. One thing that I feel is like ironically one of the least problematic depictions of an autistic person is the brother from There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
The actor himself is not autistic. He's not a neurodivergent person. He's playing one, so that already out the gate is problematic still. But the way they have him in the story, they don't make fun of him specifically, and he's never the butt of the joke. He drives certain comedic moments, but they never make fun of him specifically. And all of the other people in the movie, she like volunteers with disabled and neurodivergent people, and in the movie, all the other people playing those roles are actually in real life like neurodivergent.
Yeah.
So it's honestly like, as far as the time period it was made in, one of the better depictions of autism and neurodivergency, which is fucking bonkers that it was.
There's Something About Mary.
Yeah, the
Have you
movie
seen
with the fake nipples and the fucking
the dildo and everything?
It's crazy.
Have you seen Good Time by the Safdie brothers?
I don't think so.
One of the Safdie brothers plays the brother that is, I would say, neurodivergent. I don't know what he has.
He's supposed to be autistic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the point of the movie in a way, where he, like, you don't know Good Time.
No.
Good Time, no.
Good Time's a great movie. I suggest anyone go watch it. Did
What's
you like
that about?
it?
I didn't watch it.
What?
Yeah, sorry. I know about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Robert Pattinson is a bank robber, basically. And it starts off with his little brother, one of the Safdie brothers, I think Ben Safdie.
Safdie brother.
He's being diagnosed or whatever. What's that? I don't know. He's at like a doctor checkup or something.
Right.
But he's being put into a class for people like him, basically without saying autism, I think. And his brother's like, fuck this, he doesn't need this shit. He's coming with me. They go rob a bank, and then he gets put in jail. Ben Safdie does.
Right.
And then like Robert Pattinson, the whole movie's trying to figure out how to get his brother out of jail. And I don't want to tell the ending, but yeah.
I mean, I'll check
It sounds
out.
interesting. I've heard that that's one of his more like popular films.
Good Time is a good time, dude. No, it's a really good movie. I enjoy it.
I'm down.
I would like to know if anything is problematic about it. Obviously, you know.
Speaking of problematic autistic movies, have you heard of Music?
That's the Sia movie we were talking about.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't know anything about it. I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think Sia started working on a film, a like personal project. The story is a like woman in her late 30s, or I think she's like a DJ, or she's like part of the what do you call them, rave scene. Her mother dies, and so she has to now take care of her half sister who is autistic. Her half sister's name is Music, and half of the film is their journey, and the other half is like these music videos that are supposed to depict Music's point of view and her like inner thought. The issue is everything about this film fucking sucks.
Wow.
The music videos are overly like complicated and flashy, and because of this, they couldn't. So the biggest thing is the person depicting Music is the girl from Sia's music videos, the one that always like plays her in the music video, who's not autistic. And when people found out that she was giving the role like kind of to this person, her goddaughter, instead of an actual autistic person, they were like, well, why didn't you pick an autistic person? And Sia's response was, I did once, and she couldn't handle the set, so I just chose to give it to Maddie instead. And it was like, everyone was like, fuck you, that's not good enough. Like, what it looked like is she tried one person just so she could say that she did it, and then immediately gave it to the person she wanted to give the role to.
Yeah. She couldn't handle the klika fool, so she gotta get out, dude.
Like she didn't in any way try to adapt the film so that it would be more tolerable to an autistic actor. Instead, she just used the fact that they couldn't handle as an excuse not to hire anyone autistic. And then, you know who her reference point was for all of the credential work on this film? It was fucking Autism Speaks.
Oh, really?
Ew.
Yeah,
Yikes.
she like screened the film to them, and she's like, "Does this look good?" And they're like, "Hey, okay." And it's like, if they're saying it's okay, you should double check some of these facts. Like,
Autism Speaks is like, well, how come autistic people don't like you? Because we're trying to cure them. They're animals. They like to be autistic. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Autism Speaks. That's not. Yeah,
that's funny.
So don't check out Music. This movie.
Yeah, it was so funny because it was like it was a YouTube debuted film, and so they were putting all this energy into promoting it. But after the controversy, when it was released for $8.
Oh,
which is fucking hilarious.
Because 8's an infinity, right?
No, fuck you for putting that on us. No, like when they were releasing movies publicly, you'd pay like $19.99. Essentially, you'd pay the price of a ticket to screen the film for one day. And YouTube was like, fuck that. We'll just $8. You guys don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
Yeah, the infrastructure doesn't allow for autistic people to make a lot of money, so we'll make it $8.
Yeah, as far as and actually, someone I wanted to shout out. I need to look up their name. Their name is on my phone.
Yeah.
Ricky Faith Quinn. They also go by Rebecca, I think, is for their actor profile. Is an actress / director. She directed and wrote her own film last year. She came up with this rule called the Golden Retriever Rule, where basically if you take any film where there's an autistic character and you replace that autistic character with a golden retriever and the movie still works, that's not good representation.
Yeah.
And the idea was like, if you can airbud this movie, it's a bad movie. It's really funny.
This autistic can play basketball.
Exactly. Like if that's how the movie, like Radio, or like, I mean, I know Radio, it was based on a real person, but the way they depict him is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, for good time, I don't think you could replace them with the golden retriever, and it makes sense still because golden retrievers don't go to jail.
They just get put down.
Golden retrievers don't go to jail.
They all go to heaven, but
all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense because that dog immediately went to hell in that movie.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie, so
golden retrievers are racist dogs.
Why?
I just associate golden retrievers with racist white people.
That's mean.
I love golden retrievers, dude. You're a bitch.
I love all dogs.
It's a little suspect.
Anyway, so I think that's the end for the episode today, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys have anything else to say?
I think so. Oh, the last thing that I want to say.
Sorry, we were like lolling through this episode, but I just really don't know a lot about it, and I'm trying to learn more.
Yeah.
Every time I worked with Ryan, I learned more. And I did go through a period where I was trying to prove to you I was autistic, but I think it was a joke more than anything, and I don't mean anything by that, and I apologize. Yeah. He's smiling.
I mean, I just wanted to say thanks, Ryan, for like offering to share all this information and to teach us and to teach the listeners, because I know that's like a big thing of like having to do a lot of the labor of like informing people about these things when Google exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I will say, like, the last thing I'll say for the episode is a lot of people ask when they find out about all these things about Autism Speak and stuff, well, how do we support the autistic community? What I would say, like, the three basic things are look into, like, local programs in your city or state. Donate to them directly instead of going through a charity. Or look for other possible charities. ACAN, I think, is one of them. They had some problematic stuff last year as far as an event they tried to perform. So, but I think that they're trying to do better. There are programs available, but I would say donate directly to programs instead of going through charities. Or just like when you come across an artist that you enjoy that happens to be autistic, you can support them directly. My Venmo. I'm just kidding.
Join the Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
Yeah, like support their work, follow their work. If you literally want to donate to them, a lot of people keep their stuff in their bio. You know, that's always an option. And just do more to, like, you don't have to, but if you're looking to support us, also just, you know, research more into a lot of this stuff because it's all accessible information.
Yeah.
What should people comment if they made it this far?
Jesus Christ, Ryan.
I had a funny thing and I lost it.
Well, it doesn't have to be funny. Just anything.
I like when it's funny. Ask me again.
What should people comment if they made it this far?
If you made it this far, tell me your favorite terrible depiction of autistic people. What's your favorite autistic movie?
And I know a lot of listeners have either kids or know somebody with autism. And this episode is more so for them because of the month of April being Autistic Awareness Month.
Yeah, the support should be for autistic people, not their parents. Like,
yeah, but people that have, you know, parents need to bring them up also. So it's kind of like two people have autism if you think about it. Why are you guys looking at me like that? What?
No, we don't have to get into it. That's another thing for another episode.
But why?
It's a thing about, there's this term about autistic moms. Essentially, it's just like, Autism Speaks is for caretakers. And it's not that, you know, people shouldn't acknowledge caretakers, but they put them themselves on a pedestal. And essentially, they have the attitude that the struggle is theirs, not their autistic child's. Like, they're the ones struggling because they have a child who's autistic, not the child with autism who has to learn to adapt to a society and is unable to function how everyone else is able to function.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like both things could be true.
I don't think you put the person that's not affected by it, like...
They're not above, like, there's yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're
That's
above.
what I'm saying. That is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why it's problematic.
Yeah.
And also the thing is too, like a lot of parents of autistic people will go and argue with people with actual autism.
Yeah.
And like position themselves as experts because they care for somebody when like Ryan is the best person to explain autism to us because he's the one that experiences it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is also they have a tendency to dehumanize autistic people. They look at them as a thing in their life that affects them rather than a full a full person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say functioning, but a full no, that's too dark of an example to talk about right now. There was this woman who posted on TikTok about getting assaulted by someone who happened to be neurodivergent. And they were defended by the people in charge of taking care of them by saying he doesn't know better. This person shouldn't have got assaulted. That shouldn't have happened. But it created a negative connotation with that person, where essentially they were saying like, I don't like autistic people because they get away with shit like assault because they don't know better. And that's not true. This person got away with it because the person in charge of them didn't teach them right from wrong, or didn't hold them accountable when they did something wrong. And that's not okay. And that's what the issue was. It's not that, it's not that autism made them assault someone. It's that someone used it as an excuse to not punish them.
Yeah.
When they rightfully deserve to be punished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, like and subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Not all autistic moms are shitty.
Yeah, no.
But there are shitty people that are autistic moms, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the term doesn't... It's like when you're saying...
And all I'm saying is, like, the people identify with autism, like, in one way or another. People in their lives have autism, and they want to learn more about it. And they specifically asked in a couple of DMs about your experience with autism. Yeah. So that's what I'm basically trying to say. Is that, this episode is for just general awareness. I'm not saying that anyone, is dealing with somebody that's insufferable. Like, I don't care for those people. I care for the awareness of the thing,
Yeah.
Right.
And if you have a child with autism, we feel for you.
We feel for your child.
Yes. Your family. Yes. For the child especially. Yes. Anyways. Yes. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing and listening and liking and commenting and loving me and us and everyone here. And look at that smile. Okay. And if you haven't already, please join the Patreon. We have a $2 tier for vampires if you like getting sucked on the neck. And
we won't do that to you, I promise. Not for $2.
I promise. If you say please, I will. and Jaritos for $5, you get access to the Discord. And that's for Yolanda's. Yolanda's get $5 access to the Discord and bonus episodes. And Jaritos get a $20 producer credit, and we give you a shout out at the beginning of the episode. Like and subscribe to everything, rate and review, and we love you. And don't fly.
Don't fly.